Brothers, as we've been discussing for the past 11 weeks ago concerning this particular incident that is happening in Palestine, every one of us, we should continue to be supplicating for our Muslim brothers, and not only them. I said what concerns us most is based on three things. Number one, our Masjidul Aqsa, it concerns us. Our Muslim brothers concerns us. The third one is the generality of the humanity. Either a Jew, either a Nasara, either a Muslim. Because the way they are killing our fellow human beings over there is not something that we should be contented with in Islam. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not honor, did not say to us, وَلَقَدِ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي Adam. Either you are a Jew, you are an Israeli, you are a what, you are this. All of us came from whom? Nabiyuna Adam alayhi salamullah. And Allah has told us that Karamna Bani Adam. I honor you people because I don't have time. Allah said I don't have time to create something that will not be valuable. So indicating that we are valuable in sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That was the reason why, and that has been the reason why we should value every other human being that they are being massacred over there and every other places. This particular land, we have discussed it extensively, that this land belongs to we Muslims. We have mentioned it, that was the first khutbah we did, like 11 weeks ago. And how the Jewish, the Bani Israel, how they got to this place, we have mentioned it. How the Palestinians were sent packing from that place, we have discussed it. And what happened since 1900 to 1948, we have explained it. Because part of what we need to know, brothers, we need to wake up from our slumber. It's not just call Allah, call Allah Rasul alone. You need to know what is happening in the globe. You need to know what is happening in your vicinity. You need to know what is happening somewhere else. Not just Allah has told us this bad, Allah has told us this and this. You won't know any other thing. You will be in darkness. In 1948, as we mentioned earlier, because it's not only the Palestinians that these Banu Israel are fighting. They are fighting other nations that are around them, which majority of us know, which we are going to share together. In 1948, the first prime minister of that Israel was called David Ben-Gurion. This David Ben-Gurion, he was the one that declared the state of independence for Israel. May 14, 1948. After then, the following day, 5 Arab nations that are surrounding Israel, they came into Palestine. That why will you do this for our Muslim brothers? The Lebanons, they came from the north. The Syrians, the Jordans, and the Iraqis, they came from the west. The Egypt that is around Sinai, they also approached. So these 5 Arabian communities, Arabian nations, they intensified their effort collectively and started fighting the Israelis. Because of what? Because of the Nakba. And what we mean by Nakba is catastrophe. And the catastrophe on the Palestinians happened twice. That they expelled millions of Palestinians from their motherland. Because even this David Ben-Gurion wasn't an Israeli, he was a Polish that migrated to where? To Palestine. And he was one now that declared state of independence. We have talked about how Nabiyuna Musa alayhi salamullah brought them there, right? What now happened during our own generation is what we are talking now. The United Nations, they started clamoring that this fight, that these Arab people are fighting the Israelis, we need to interfere. And you know, in 1948, they were the one that passed a resolution 181 that they are proposing for a country inside one country. They were the one that proposed for the Israeli state. It was a proposal. Before David Ben-Gurion now what? He now actualized it in 1948. I hope you are following me. Now, in June 11, this 1948, the United Nations now came, they now interfere that we need to call the Arabs that are fighting the Israelis. They stopped. When they stopped, nobody was fighting any longer. But despite that, the Israelis, they were sourcing for weapons from the black European market. They were preparing themselves. And you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already told us that وَإِنِّي فَضَلْتُكُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. Their fadl on every other people will continue at Yawm al-Qiyamah. Wherever the Israelis, wherever they get to, wherever they assemble themselves, you will definitely know that these are Banu Israel. They hardly associate people to people. The way we are all sitting down together like this, they hardly sit down together with every other people, except people from their own race. Indians can sit down with us since we are in the same masjid. Pakistani can sit down with us. Any Arab can sit down with us. They won't look at our color. But the Jews, the Banu Israel, they won't do that. They see every one of us as Agnam. They see us like animals. And they see themselves as Abnaullah. They see themselves as what? The chosen one, the children of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is their belief. That is their cycle. So in July 8, 1948, when the United Nations left, they now said, okay, we need to go and evacuate the remaining of the Palestinians on their land. The weapons that they have sought for during the time that the United Nations said, you need to put an embargo to this fight. Because 5 Arab nations, no matter how vicious you are, no matter how brave you are, if 2 or 3 people collided on you, no matter kind of power you have, they were going to overpower you. 5 Arab nations fighting only Israel. So United Nations interfered and I said, okay, we need to stop. But that time, clandestinely, Israel was sourcing for weapons. And they were getting it. The Lebanon and the Syria, they were also getting it from the French. Because it was the French and the England, the United Kingdom, that were ruling the nation, they were ruling the world. It was after World War II that USA now came to limelight. The power mongers, the power breeders, then they were the French and the Britons. So the Britons, they were supplying the Jordans, the Iraqis, and the Syrians. After some time, they laid an embargo that nobody should do that any longer. So when it was July, that was when the Israelis now said, okay, we need to go and fight them. We need to go and send them away. They started fighting them. They started fighting them. By November 1948, they were advancing towards Gaza. A particular community they call Al-Fallujah. Al-Fallujah is in between Iraq and Palestine. They encountered a brigade of the Egyptians. And in that particular brigade, there was a major called Gamal Abdel Nasser, who later became a president in Egypt. He was captured. So that you can see this Banu Israel. It's not only the Palestinians that they've been fighting, and it's not going to stop on the head of Palestine. They will continue. At Yawm al-Qiyamah, you know, I keep reiterating it. It will not stop. If they finish this Palestine zone, they will go to another nation and go and fight again. This Gaza that they are fighting people now, 4 months ago, they discovered that there is an oil well in Palestine. In Gaza, precisely. Maybe they started this fight. They started this Holocaust. They started this genocide. October 7th, right? 2-3 months before October, they discovered that there is an oil well in Gaza. It was just because our own Muslim brothers were the one that first of all did what? They sent a missile to them. So, the United Nations now interfere again for the second time. That you people, you should stop this fighting. Stop fighting on the Palestinian land. You know there was a proposal, but no actualization. Gamal Abdel Nasser was among the brigade that was captured. So United Nations now put them together, delegation from Egypt and delegation from Israel. That you people have to go and meet. When you meet, you have to reconcile on how to get back your what? The brigade armies. And they sponsored that meeting. They met in the island of Rhodes in Greece. February 23rd, 1949. Gradually, when it became the summer of that 1949, the Syrians, the Jordanians, and the Iraqis, they now submitted to the will of the Israelis that since we have now armistices, we have a truce, okay, we too, we are now submitting ourselves. The Palestinian land that has like 80% now reduced to what? It now reduced to 30%. That was when they started capturing, because these people are the ones that submitted themselves. The Jordanians, the Syrians, and the Lebanon. They are the ones that submitted themselves to who? To the Israelis. So they started capturing the area of Sinai. They started capturing the area of Jordan. And after these armistices, after this truce, they now agreed that Jerusalem and defacto Garbiya, the West Bank, will be placed under Jordan, and Gaza alone will be placed under Egypt. Because Gaza is very close to Egypt. If you look at the map. When they did this, Gamal Abdel Nasser was not happy. And this was not done alone. It was done with the political circle of Egypt. They agreed. But the military circle, they were not carried along. So Gamal Abdel Nasser was a very young, vibrant army officer. So he now conceived a plan that, okay, we army, we need to free ourselves. They now launched and formed Free Officers Movement in 1949. In 1952, they were doing all their planning. In 1952, July 23rd, 1952, they now revolted. And the king, because it was monarchy that they used to practice in Egypt, monarchical system, not this democracy, not all this aristocracy, whatever. They now planned that we need to overthrow this monarchy. And the king then was Faruq ibn Fuad. He was a very spoiled child right from childhood. He was the only son of his father with 5 sisters, of Fuad, 1, in Egypt. If you are talking about royalty, if you are talking about throne, these are the people that have really enjoyed it. He was a spoiled brat that never knew what is poverty, never knew anything like pain in his life. But all his antecedents, all his history as a king was full of corruption and excesses. So it was very easy for the army to do what? To overthrow him. So July 23rd, 1949, Gamal Abdel Nasser, who was a major then, has become a lieutenant colonel. They now overthrew him. And that was how they turned Egypt to another republic. And that is what led to the July Revolution. They started that. Fighting all this. David Ben-Gurion, who was the first prime minister, he had retired from political life. That I'm not in active service any longer. But for him to have heard that this Gamal Abdel Nasser has taken over power in Egypt, he sees it as another threat to Israel. Because they've been hearing about his name as a young officer and how vibrant he was. He used to be a warrior. And he assumed that another Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the first president of the Ottoman Empire in Turkey, Mustafa Atatürk, will come. So I need to prepare myself and go back to the public service. somebody that has retired. He now came back in 1955, February 1955. David Ben-Gurion now came back, who was a prime minister, who was the person that declared the state of independence inside Palestine in 1948. He now came back in 1955 February as a defense minister because he wants to fight whom? Gamal Abdel Nasser. Are you following me? Because I want us to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that have talked about this Banu Israel thousands years ago. We are seeing all what Allah has said as revealed unto Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are seeing it and we are experiencing it. And this is how we are going to continue to experience it. We should continue praying so that Benjamin Netanyahu, they will not visit us here in Nigeria. Because this is how they will continue to be fighting every nation up and down. Because they will continue. Allah said, Yatihuna fil ard arba'ina sanatan. They will continue to be wandering on the earth for good 40 years. And the 40 years that Allah mentioned here is not the 40 years that me and you will have attained. It's the 40 years of hereafter. The 40 years will be 40 times 365 days. Times 1,000. That is the equivalence of that 40 years that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned. So they will be moving from one destination, from one nation, from one continent to another continent. This is Banu Israel. Because they will never have a base. They don't have and they will never have a Tayyum al-Qiyamah. Immediately, this David Ben-Gurion became the defense minister the following week. 1 week after, that was 28 February 1949. 150 paratroopers. They now approached Gaza. They started killing the army officers of Gamal Abdel Nasser from Egypt. You know Gaza has been placed under Egypt. They started killing them and they killed 40 senior officers and injured other officers. This now infuriated Gamal Abdel Nasser. In March 1949, he now traveled from Egypt, he went to Gaza. He had a meeting with all the Gazans that this is an aggression. I'm not going to allow it. Thank God I'm now the president of Egypt. I'm not going to allow it. He started planning. He started planning. He started planning. The first thing that Gamal Abdel Nasser did was to close the Strait of Tirans that led to Gulf of Aqaba. Gulf of Aqaba is just a narrow passage seaway that the Arabs used to travel from their own place to Israel. There is a port in Israel that is called Eilat Port. So they are going to pass through Gulf of Aqaba to get to that place, wherever you are coming from the Arabian Peninsula. So Gamal Abdel Nasser has the power on that route. So he blocked it. In 1949, he blocked it. All this were happening, in 1955, all this were happening till 1956. That the second Nakba now happened, which time will not permit us, we are going to continue next to the created life. But what I want to us to deduce from this is that all these Arabian lands that is surrounding this Palestine, these Banu Israel, they fought all of them. And they are going to go out of that precinct to go and continue to be fighting every other people. Except if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no more Allah. Which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never cease to be Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive every one of us. Wherever we come across them, we should be very careful on how we deal with them. This one that is in the hands of DSS, this guy from Niger Delta, that they caught in Turkey, Kalbu or something. He's a Jew. He's a Jew. And he has his own disciples. So not until those Benjamin Netanyahu or David Ben-Gurion or Ismail Weizmann come down here before we know we have the Banu Israel. They are here. Some of them are living in Akodo if you don't know. I can give you the number of their house. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala don't let them come to our place and don't let us have the belief they have. So we should be very careful. We are saying this because history is very important. It's part of the things that will prepare us for tomorrow. That's why we have the Syria of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It will shape him and remodel us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us of our shortcomings. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba Allah is asking us, we should be just in whatever we are doing. We all know the justice we need to do within our family folks, in our places of work, in our neighborhood. We know what we need to do that is right. Even food that we used to eat, we should eat a medium food. Don't eat less and don't eat much. There is one literature. I've forgotten the name. The Malan said, Faharun, Summa Harun, Summa Harun, Shakahu Limari Ili Ajili to Army, Shakahu Limari Min Ajili to Army, Faharun, woe, Summa Harun, woe, Summa Harun, woe on that person. Shakahu Limari Ili Ajili to Army, that person that became an unfortunate person because of food that is eating. That you don't have control of your mouth. Anywhere you can eat. All your go. It is you that want to break fast. You are the one with watermelon. You are the one with apple. You are the one with pepper soup. You are the one with the more you eat more, the more you lose your sense of thinking, sense of reasoning. Whatever we are doing in life, we should be in between al-mutawassit. We should be al-mutawassit. Don't be al-gulu. An extremist is not good. But actually, those of you that you have 2 wives, and those of you that you are about to marry 2 wives, and those of you that you already have 3, 4 wives, you need to be just. So also within your children. Brothers, let me ask you a question. You that you have a wife that is very obese, that if you weigh her on a scale, her scale is 84 kg, and you have another one, and one scale is 25 kg. Are you going to buy the same yard of clothes for her? Or not? If you buy, one is very obese, she needs 10 yards. This one needs 3.5. Allah said, you are buying 10 for someone, you are buying 3.5 for someone. Where is the justice? So also within our children. We should be very just with the level that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Well, the ihsan, we should do good. Every one of us, we should use the opportunity Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us to do good. The army officers among us, the mobile officer, the security, the whatever you are, including engineer, including labor, including laborer, do good. Let people be proud of what we are doing. There are some that will never pray to do what they are doing, and they are Muslim, and they are praying, and they are doing this. But what they are doing, what they have chose to do, we never pray to do it, because they are not portraying themselves and Islam in a righteous way. Let every one of us live a modest life. That you see that brother, you see that sister, I love his job. He's a righteous Muslim. Despite the fact that every other people are non-entities, he is an exceptional person. This is the kind of life that me and you should live. But they want to show a bad egg. A scapegoat is being displayed. It is you, Abdul Qadir. It is you, Abdul Rahman. It's a shame. It's better you even leave the fold of Islam. Wa'ita is al-qurba. Our family members. I keep saying it every time. Those of you that you are running away from your family, it's only your wife and your children that you know. Because you see one girl that can speak, come, go. English is not a success. It's just an ordinary language. Because you got to Lagos. The Ramatu, that she used her mother's money, couldn't kuli to help you to pay for handout in your school. Maybe it is that Ramatu that sponsor your project in your final year. You got to Lagos now, Ramatu, but a year to Renchiba. To Renchiba, yana chiki aderine. Koma lara chiba baka samba ga hiya lara chiba, baza hana ka aljanna ba. It's just a language. It's just a language. All the people you have disappointed, they will wait for you at Barzakh on the day of Qiyamah. Some of us, some of you, the lady you are promised are the one that propelled you to this level of success that you have attained. But you got to city, you left village, you got to city. Lokacin da ka san ce ido ka ya bude, lokacin da ka yi wayo. So lokacin da kana kauye, kai wawa ne ko? Ka manta da yariyan nan da ta sa ci gold da mamanta ta ji ta siyar domin kai ka je makaranta. ka zama abunda Allah ya kaddara ka zama yau ka manta da ita summa radadnahu asfala safilin. Wa ita'il qurba, our family members, don't forget them. Everybody now wants to send their children abroad. The education standard in Nigeria is not the way it used to be, right? Everybody wants to go to UK, want to go to London, want to go to this place. Now, if you don't take care of other people's children, because anybody going out of Nigeria now, none of them wants to come back. None of them wants to come back. If not we now that age has captured us now that we say we are not going anywhere. If our own children say, if they have any opportunity now, they are going. If you are not taking care of other people's children, right? Who will now take care of you when your children will not? The only thing they will be doing, Daddy, what do you want? If Allah bless their hand. For them to come to Nigeria might be difficult. I've shared an experience with us here in Lagos. One man died. Inside his house alone, they made 40 million naira cash. 40 million naira cash after my 2 years, those of you that know Lagos. So it's not something I read, it's something that happened that I know. 40 million naira cash. If somebody is having 40 million naira cash, how much do you think? Before they even took any Jack Robinson to bury their father, all of them went to buy Jeep. Those are the children that you have labored for. They don't even care about the burial of their father. They are just preparing for the ceremony. Another one happened here in this Lagos. The father was about to die. He has 4 children, 1 daughter and 3 sons. All of them are in different countries. They were calling them, come back. Your father is about to die. Maybe you are the only one that is going to tell the last departing word. This one said, guys, sir, we are expecting one big president in our company. I won't be able to come. Let daddy postpone his death till maybe next month. They call Karimu, where he is, in another country. We just commissioned our plant. And I'm a senior engineer, I won't be able to come. Whenever the CEO comes, it's me that the plant manager will push to go and talk. He couldn't come. They call the other 3rd one in Switzerland. Your daddy is about to die, and you know the people in the village. They'll be calling the children. They want one of the children to witness when their parents want to die. The other one to give one excuse in the place of their work. The only daughter, like Fatima Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to that man, she told the father that, daddy, this week is the week that we have, our husband was a medical doctor, and God bless the husband. He has built a very big hospital in a foreign land, and that was the week that the hospital is to be commissioned. So thank God, the man was able to recapitulate his journey. He now discovered that when these children needed him, he too was not there. Those of you that you are here that don't remember your house, every time, work. There are some of you now that have not even called your family this morning. They won't remember you when you are going to call them at your old age. Every time they give you leave, it is one ashawo that you keep somewhere there that you are spending your leave with. You forget them in the village. You have 2, 3 wives. You leave them in the village. So it's not easy in Lagos. It's not easy in Lagos. He even say I have put in transport. In a don't get shake. I said you should not come because of the non-entity you are doing here. If you don't remember your family today, you will be abandoned tomorrow. And not only your wife and children. I keep saying it. Relate with your extended family members. Your children might not be there when you are going to need them. وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ. Allah is enjoying every one of us. All these nefarious activities, all these dirty office politics that some of you are very good at. Hypocrisy, magicry, all these shenanigans. There is a Quran says that we are warning you, we are telling you if you are ready to heed. It's not me saying it. This verse is in Surah Al-Isra, the surah before Surah Al-Kahf. It's a big ayah in Surah Al-Isra. If you are ready to heed to it, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let us heed to the call of Allah and grant us Al-Jannah to Firdaus. Our Muslim brothers that are security brothers among us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to protect you. The weapons you are using to protect us, may they not use it against you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to protect you and protect your family wherever they are. Whichever day you are going to drop their uniform, those of you that you are still serving, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not let you drop their uniform with your blood. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Those that have retired, some of them are within us now, they are just doing a child's play. You should have an estimated time, because this is not what you continue to be doing with your life. I think retirement is after 60, at 60, right? But maybe you do this PP for 5 years or 6 years, and go and the remaining before you die, you go and use it with your wife and children. Your grandchildren should be pulling your cheek, pulling your back, baba, grandpa. This is what we should do. And go and be watching kettles in masjid. And go and turn yourself to muazzin. You can fight for muazzin, but don't fight for imam. The time that you even want to wear trouser, before you remove your trouser, PP has come out. Don't let that time meet you here in service. Don't let it meet you after service. Before 70, everybody should be tired to masjid. That all the things we have committed during those after service here, we should go and be repenting so that we can become a born again in sight of Allah before we die. And those of us that we are shouting now, after some time, nature will not be able to shout like this again. Gradually, we are going there. Every day we are growing, our strength is reducing. It's an ayah in Surah Yasin that we want to talk. Hardly the people sitting in front of me might not hear. That is the natural philosophy of life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let us end well. And this project that has brought us together, may Allah let us see the light of the day. We will be happy because we are writing our history here today. We can say, yes, we constructed and we came finally together. And the time is coming, if you are passing by, you want to enter, they will bullshit us. You just be telling them story, and the one that do that rigid pavement at the gate. It can no recognition, and the one that did CDU, and the one that catch the troublesome armed robber inside the refinery. Even they gave me accolade. It can no. That is life. You just be telling them because the Jagabans that will be at the gate, they won't know you. It is only history you be telling people, yes, we started it from foundation, we did some building, we did consolidation. Story in Yoku, you become a visitor here. Those of you that you are here today. Tilka asaruna tadullu alayna. Fansuru badana ila al-asari. Allahumma izza al-islam wal muslimin. Wazilla shirka wal mushrikin. Wadamir adaka ada ad-din. Fansuru ibaraka al-muwahidin bi rahmatika ya arhamur rahimin. Allahumma ansur ikhwanina fi Palestine, wa fi Shishan, wa fi Afghanistan, wa sa'ira bilad al-muslimin ya arhamur rahimin. Allahumma ansur ikhwanina fi kulli makan. Wa ansurna ala adaina wa adaika bi rahmatika ya arhamur rahimin. يا نار سلمنا من كل عدي والحزن والدين والأمن والغم والدور والفقر ومن كل شر الجن والإنس ومن جميع مصائب الدنيا والآخرة يا أرحم الراحمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. قوموا إلى صلاتكم.